Do you have questions about chickens? Well, today we're with Tim, and we're gonna find out what he knows. So here we are with Tim, sitting next to his chicken coop. The first question I got is, why did you pick chickens?
Well, when we bought this piece of property, that was always in our plan. We wanted chickens, and we're still on the verge of maybe getting a goat or two, but the chickens were the first priority when we bought this place. We wanted the fresh eggs, and I mean, we're pescatarians, so we don't actually eat the meat. We just, have pet chickens for the eggs, if you say. But for our wedding, a friend of ours decided to gift us a chicken. So we had no coop built, we had no plans on getting one. So it was a frantic 2-week process to build this. And you were a part of that.
I remember, I think I was out here Christmas Eve building a good chicken coop with you.
Totally, yep.
So how long have you had this group of chickens?
This group of chickens we've had for a little over a year. We started with 15 Sussex hens, and we're down to 11, just due to predators and such. We also have a Rhode Island red rooster and a couple bantams. Okay.
He's looking down here in the tree line. The chickens are right here off camera in the woods, scratching in the leaves. So you were talking about, the eggs is a good part of it. How many eggs do you get per week?
Per week, I'd say a couple dozen. We're coming out of the winter months, so they're not as egg productive as they are in the summer months. Everything I've learned and read, the more space they have and the happier and the sunnier and the warmer, the more they lay. So in the winter months, we get maybe 2 or 3 out of 11 hens. But now that, it's starting to warm up and it's March, that we're getting 5 to 6 a day.
5 or 6 eggs a day?
Yeah, so that'd be more than 2 dozen a week.
Okay. What are some of the things that you wish you would have known that probably people have questions about? What do you wish you would have known before you got started, and what have you learned in the process?
There's a lot. Don't buy chickens from poultry auctions. We got this set of hens. We also bought a bunch of bantams from an auction. We bought 2 roosters and 10 hens, and they came back with what's called Merrick's disease. And that's why there's a separated portion down here at the bottom of the coop, because I had to do that to separate them from the other chickens. Come to find out, Sussex they're more bred to be Merrick disease, not necessarily immune to it, but they're not as susceptible to the disease as bantams are. So we lost a lot of chickens to Merrick's. If I were to give anybody some advice, I would say start with chicks, start from a reliable hatchery, and get them vaccinated for Merrick's disease, because it was horrible.
Wow. So I think we all know about quarantine and getting vaccinated
these days.
Yeah. I have written down here a question to ask you if they free range or stay in the coop, but they're all around us. There's one here, there's several down in the trees.
There's 4 of them down and they love to scratch in leaves, so I haven't picked up the leaves from this bottom part of the property that's more like park-like, and they love to go in there because right now the worms are coming up.
Yeah.
So, hey Hoppy. So when they come out of that coop, they go straight down to that bottom of that hill and start digging around in those leaves. They've been out for about half an hour now.
Yeah.
So some of them have gotten bored and went up to the bird feeders to get all the scraps up below it.
So when it was really cold in the wintertime, you just left them in the coop? Yeah,
so the big enclosure, that was my big project this winter. I wanted them to have a covering that would be snow-free and rain-free, that they could go in and scratch and have plenty of room. Like I say, we don't butcher our chickens. We give them the best life they possibly can.
Yeah, sure.
for the eggs. They're more like pets, really.
So this question isn't on the list, but just so everybody knows, 99% of these chickens have names. He's able to identify them at a impressive distance, and there's many unique names, like there's a janky toe, a fog eye.
Fog eye. We got her, she was missing an eye, so it's all fogged over.
Yeah. So many unique names, and the ones that don't have red names, I call them just the red shirts.
They're freckle necks.
Or freckle necks.
They got all those freckles on their neck.
So how much maintenance does a coop of this size, roughly a dozen chickens, a good sized chicken run, and a quarantine zone, how much time do you spend, let's say in a week, maintaining the coop?
Well, I'm incredibly happy that the temperatures are above freezing now because I hooked up the water system. We have the rain barrel and we have the lines coming out of the rain barrel into waterers in the coops. When we couldn't have that, it was an everyday process of coming in, filling the water. We had to get heated bowls so they wanted to come out. Even in the frigid temperatures, they couldn't stand being cooped up, pun intended. And so it was an everyday process of making sure the water was clean, making sure it was thawed out. I built pretty large feeders inside. So, I mean, the food really wasn't an issue, or really the coop maintenance. It was more of the water in the winter. But in the summer months, of course, we have to clean out the coop more often, clean out the bedding, make sure it's sanitized as we can make it.
Right.
So usually I'll clean out the coop during the summer about once a week, once every week and a half. The water, I just make sure that rain barrel's full and fill their feeders. And their feeders, fill them about every 5 days or so.
It's not too bad.
Now I wanted it to be as maintenance free as I could possibly be.
Sure, because that's a question that a lot of people have. Can I leave for a couple of days, a weekend, and they be self-sufficient? Have maybe somebody come by, that maybe isn't familiar with chickens. Can I still go on vacation if I have chickens?
And then something else was this big run. I mean, this is a suggestion actually you gave me because I know you grew up with chickens. Was the burying the fencing on the ground and connecting it to the run. Mm-hmm. That way I don't have to close their door every night because predators can't get in.
Right.
So if they came up to the coop and wanted to try to dig under it, they couldn't. They have that fencing, that metal fencing there to, make sure they don't get under it, get in and kill our chickens.
Sure.
So we have had zero issues with keeping the door open during the night. And honestly, Franklin, who just crowed, loves being outside in the warmer months.
Right.
So the last week or so, we've got that little sawhorse in there, and I'll come out and do my run and just check up on everybody and flash the flashlight in there, and he's just sitting there, cooped up on that thing.
Now, when you're saying leaving the door open, you don't mean the walk-in door. It's the small door for just the chickens to get into the coop.
Yeah. So yeah, the run doors. I mean, they instinctively will go back inside as soon as the sun starts setting. Then I'll come out and close the big door, but I'll keep the door that goes into the coop open.
Okay. So you said that you haven't had any problems with predators getting into the coop.
Yeah,
but they're out here walking around. You got woods to the back, you got woods to the side. Have you had any problems with predators when they're out walking around?
Yes. One night when we first got them, we had them acclimated to their coop, but they weren't acclimated to free ranging yet. So they were exploring their territory. So this was a couple months after we had them. Back in the woods on our west side, one of the chickens got lost and I didn't know it. So when I came out to count our hens, I was one short. The next day I found a bunch of feathers. So, and we do have trail cameras out. We do catch coyotes and foxes regularly. So I figured either one of those got her. But you were here that one day, we were working in the garden. It was about 3 p.m., 3:30.
Yeah, it was late afternoon.
Rosie, one of our hens, she just let out this crazy noise. So we shot out of the garden, came around to the wooded area, and I didn't see it, but we scared it off and it was a fox.
Yeah.
So it had grabbed her, went over the creek line and dropped her on the other side of the creek, and she had some puncture wounds under her wing and such, but we saved her.
Yeah, you only fell in the creek twice that day.
Yeah, I had a few wobbly pops and was looking for her remains before I found them and fell in the creek. Yeah, thanks for that, buddy.
So my last question, we talked about the benefit of getting eggs. How having a little flock of pets.
Yeah.
You know, they become part of the family. You know, just really how easy it is to take care of them once you get the base of operations down. Is it all worth it?
100% yes.
Yeah.
My wife loves them. She's become very attached. I have as well. I mean, I can't put that on her. And they do. I mean, they are pets. And I know a lot of people have chickens for the meat source. But again, we have them for the eggs.
Sure.
And they're going to die from old age and happiness. And just happy chickens make delicious eggs.
Yeah.
I got to tell you.
I'm the recipient of their egg product, and hands down, I will reach for the fresh egg every single time.
Especially free rangers. They're getting all the natural bugs.
Yeah, and you know, the question, I grew up around chickens. My parents raised chickens when I was a kid, and you know, a chicken that stays in the coop and eats chicken feed, their eggs are good. But a chicken that free ranges, scratches in the leaves, eats the bugs in the yard, is that much better. It turns up the richness of the egg a noticeable amount. The color of the yolk alone is noticeable. It goes from
ridiculous,
you know, a nice yellow color to almost orange. It's a free-ranging chicken is much different than a coop kept chicken in egg quality alone. And also, you'd be hard pressed to look around the yard and find a bug.
Oh, ticks? Oh my gosh.
Ticks are gone.
Totally gone. Even with just 12 chickens.
Ant hills.
Don't see them.
Away. I've seen them running across the yard, chasing after a butterfly or a grasshopper that's flying. Chickens are.
They're very beneficial, and
sure, they're the current day raptor.
They truly are. They're little dinosaurs. They're vicious.
Yeah.
Well, and they're beneficial because when we clean out the coops, we can compost that. And when we compost that, you know, you've seen our garden.
Yeah.
It just adds more richness to it, and it's just a full circle. I wouldn't give them up at all.
So with that, I'll say, if you've liked what you've heard,
thumbs up.
Yeah, click that thumbs up. Click subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you can get notified when we have new videos coming out, because, spoiler, we've got a compost video on the way. Maybe we'll shoot that right after this.
Just talking about compost.
Just talking about compost. So, again, thanks for having us out.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for including me. I really had a good time.
This is a lot of fun. All right, so everybody out there, come on back next time as we keep on working towards a better Terra.